Yeah, so I'll give you an example because I think regardless of how mentally tough that you are, it's not just like Pierce has some insane mental toughness now and can do everything, like whether he tries to or not. It's really, I think, what I call like a perishable skill. Like if you don't exercise it, it's going to diminish. It's like what you don't use, you lose. And so here's the story. So back in 2023, I'd signed up for three 200-mile races in 3 months. So it's a race series called the Triple Crown of 200s in the United States, 200-mile race. It was like 220, 213, and 240 miles are these race distances. At the time, I'd run 4 100-mile races before, and like I wanted to get into the 200 miles. I'd seen other people doing it. And in this 200-mile race, it's like literally doing 8 marathons back to back to back, sleeping 1 hour a night, going through the mountains, up and down, all around, 30,000+ feet of elevation gain. To give you like context, like climbing Everest is 29,029 feet. Like it's just a lot. It's a huge, huge task. And so anyway, I hired a coach, I trained, I did all the things that I should have done. But I'll be honest, at this point, every race I had done, I'd finished, and I was overly confident going into the race. And so I go into this race, Tahoe 200 in July of 2023, overconfident. And I'm excited, and I'm like looking at the prior race results, and I'm like, okay, well, usually I finish top 10% of the field. I'll do that here. What time does that grant me? 72 hours. Okay, I'll be done in 3 days. But anyway, I went into this race a little bit overconfident, I'll be honest, and I forgot to lube up. Like in these ultra distances, it's important, as silly as it sounds, really important to lube up your private areas, your armpits, your nipples, like everything, so you don't chafe. Chafing is like when your clothing rubs up against your body or your legs rub together, and you can chafe so bad that you start to bleed. And so sure enough, it was like a perfect storm. About 30 miles in, I start having GI issues, and so I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going diarrhea, like, on the trail. Like, I'm obviously running off to the side, taking care of business, whatever. But it was, like, constant, like, every 10 minutes or something, I'd have to go. And so I'm dealing with that, which is, like, demoralizing because that's the last thing you want to happen when you're running and trying to finish an ultra marathon. And then because of that, I start chafing really bad. And because of these circumstances, my mindset, because of these circumstances and my mindset going into the race not being dialed in, I started to let that get to my head. I started to let that get to my head. And so it gets to my head and I start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm 40 miles in and I have 160 to go. Oh my gosh, how am I going to do that? I'm only 42 miles in now and I have 158 to go. And I'm moving so slow and I feel so terrible. And so I basically talked myself into a hole in my mind. So by the time I got to 55, I'm like, okay, I'm done. This race sucks. It's just not my day. I need to like throw in the towel and come back at it next year. That was my mindset, my thoughts. But I remember my coach always told me, he said, before you make any decision to quit during an ultra marathon, make sure that you eat and you sleep. Okay. And so eat and sleep, because if you eat a bunch and then sleep, usually you're running a lower on calories during these races just because your body can't process enough. And then also like you're obviously tired, you've been running all day, and sleep works. It's amazing. And so I know he told me that. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to eat and sleep just to appease him because I don't want to. I know like in my head, I'm like, I'm going to quit after, but I can't quit without telling him that I ate and slept. And so I do that, and I get to 60, and then I eat and I sleep. And to my surprise, I wake up like an hour later, feeling like a new person, still a little bit sore, but like mentally feeling refreshed. I'm like, I think I can give it a little bit of a go. And so I got back on the trail, ready to go, and then ran to the next aid station. And I was able to get through that race. There were many highs and lows, but I was able to then get through that race by just focusing on getting to the next aid station. And so that's taught me a very powerful principle. And I'll add this to the story. I knew I needed to I had another 200-mile race, the second one, 18 days later from when I finished that first one. And so I had to adjust things mentally because I wasn't going to physically be ready for it. And so I figured if I came into that race with the same mindset I did the first, there's no way I'd be able to finish. And so I was talking to a friend who's a Navy SEAL, and this is the mental strategy that I was using. I didn't really know to end up finishing the first that I would then use in the second is it's called segmentation. And it's very simple. Probably heard about it before, but if we can grab this process and actually implement it into every area of our life, I think we'll live way greater lives. And segmentation is just bringing a big goal or a big task and breaking it down in smaller subsequent parts. And for an ultra marathon, they do it easy for you because an aid station is anywhere from 8 to 15 miles apart. And so all you do, if you just focus on getting to the next aid station, you will finish the race. Because mentally, one of the biggest things that comes up during races these long is people think, oh my gosh, if I feel this bad 70 miles into the race, how the heck am I going to go another 130? Or if I'm 110 miles, how can I possibly do another 90 if I get worse? And yeah, no one can mentally process that, but that's why you have to focus on just getting to the next aid station, because you'll ride these highs and lows throughout the race. But if you know, okay, I only need to get 5 more miles, I only need to get 8 more miles, and then I can refocus and reset and then go after the next one, it makes it so much easier. So chunking down that big goal into smaller parts, and it is not just for running, it's in your business. You have a big yearly goal, break it down into smaller parts, and what can you do today? Just focus on today, because if you string up enough todays, it's inevitable for you to accomplish your goal.